May I come in? Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Would you like to speak in Hindi or English?
English, sir.
If you like, you can take out the mask.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My name is Devam Mishra. Good morning. My name is Devam Mishra. I did my Bachelor's of Technology in Civil Engineering from Delhi Technological University from 2013 to 2017. In my bachelor's project, I did a tall building analysis in wind loads, which grew my interest towards structural engineering. And I pursued a master's in structural engineering from Georgia Institute of Technology, which is the second best US school in civil engineering. Post completion, I worked in high-rise office buildings, residential buildings for 1.5 years. And I came back to India during the pandemic. Currently, I'm working as a structural engineer at Bechtel Corporation in Gurgaon.
Okay. You are working in Gurgaon, as you said.
Yes.
And you have studied in Georgia Institute.
Yes.
Where is this Georgia Institute?
It is in Atlanta, Georgia.
But nowhere in the form the word Atlanta is written.
It's in the address, sir. Like we have to mark the address of the.
No, but even in the hobbies also, there you could have mentioned USA.
Okay.
It was not mentioned there as well. Anyway.
I'm sorry about that.
For how long were you there in Georgia?
So my master's degree was for 1.5 years, 3 semesters, and then I worked for 1.5 years more as a structural designer
There.
Yes.
So tell me 3 things which struck you about USA, which were different from India and were good.
I would say I have 3 points, each for the professors, the students, and general the civil engineering field. First, the professors. I think one of the starking things that I found was that yes, they give the continuous assessment and assignments, but those assignments were very much related to the practical examples. Like you cannot find the solutions to that in any book. So particularly in my college, I could not find it. They were mostly from textbooks, and some people may copy it.
Just number them, please.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Don't
One, yeah. And then second, I think the students, as I've invested myself with a huge amount of money, I was going through the classes, I was attending attentively. I think that was missing in my bachelor's. That was my fault. And the third point
this is not a good thing. I told you to tell me 3 good things. No?
Yes, sir. So there it was a good thing in the US, which I did. And then third, in civil engineering field, I think they are more technologically advanced. The codes, especially ASC, that is American Society of Civil Engineers, AISC, the Steel Construction Manual, they are updated like every 2 years. I was there for 3 years and it was updated twice.
So tell me about your swimming now. Swimming and tabla are your...
Yes.
And what are these Congo drums?
There are 3 drums. One is tombadora, which gives the bass sound, the conga, which gives a high pitch sound, and then there is another one that is a smaller one.
No, swimming.
Yes.
Who has got the maximum gold medals in Olympics? I'm sure you know the name of the person.
Yes, sir. It's Michael Phelps. He's quite a legend in swimming. Yes.
And how many medals in all, and in which all Olympics?
He has won 28 gold medals. I do not remember the years specifically. I'm sorry, sir. But in the Beijing Olympics, I think it was 2008. That's where he was at his peak and he won the most gold medals as a swimmer.
Thank you.
So total difference is there. You are saying between USA and India. So one thing is that they are getting updated very often they are getting updated. What other difference is there?
So like things like wind and earthquake codes, they are more they're expanded. They have the commentary sections where any kind of research that is done lately any kind of new things that structure designers come across, that is written in the commentary. Yes, it increases the whole length of the book, but it makes the life easier for the structure engineers. That is one important difference that I found in the codes.
And what is the process of code updation in USA?
So there in every state, they have the committees which give their recommendations for their state. Like for California, it is a high seismic region, so they give their recommendations. And then these standards, the ASC, the AISC, they cumulatively take all the important updations that must be required and has to be applied in the whole US. However, you can find the state codes where they have their particular...
In committees, who are the members of the committee?
I do not remember all of the names. However, I worked with one person in the AISC committee, Dr. Donald W. White. I worked under him for some time for a very small project that he was working on.
So you have come, you know, the life of RCC structure. What is the life of RCC structure?
It spans anywhere from 30 to 50 years, generally, what we take.
Why the life of RCC structure is only 30 to 40 years?
There may be like different reasons. One reason I feel is that the environment in which the structure is there, that plays a role in the durability of the concrete. If it is a highly seismic or a highly wind region, then it also plays in the design.
So that will happen every case in RCC also, in PSC also, and steel also.
But the durability of concrete gets affected a lot.
Why in RCC, not in PSC?
The reason is RCC concrete, the quality control is a bit lesser in RCC concrete if we compare it to steel structures or the PSC. The reason is that most of the constructions are not regulated, especially in India. If it is a smaller construction, it is not regulated. The concrete is made at site. That is also one of the reasons why the design life is kept at a lower age.
You want to join a government organization?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you join academic organization? Why don't you get into academics?
So that decision, it was one of the main points when I did my master's. There they gave me an option of doing a non-thesis option, a thesis option. However, I wanted to get into the practicality of it. And I want to keep that option open of academic background as well. However, I feel especially for civil engineering, practical experience is a must. Even in later stage, if you go to academic background, practical experience is a must. One case that I would like to point out is that our pre-stressed concrete professor, he was side by side, he was the advisor in all the like foot over bridges or railway bridges, any kind of mishaps that happen, he used to give his comment on it in front of the law. So I think these things do matter, not essentially academic background.
Good. What was your project in BTech?
So it was wind analysis of tall buildings of rectangular structure and plus shaped.
And in MTech?
So MTech, I did not do a thesis option. I did it for 1.5 years. Because it was also less money, and secondly, I wanted to get into the practical experience side. However, I knew that I have to come back to India, so I did a very small research credit course in which I was working for lateral torsional buckling research analysis, where Professor Donald W. White, he was trying to make uniform equations for both codes. There are two codes, ASHTO and AISC. They have two different equations to calculate the lateral torsional buckling resistance of steel beams. So he was trying to combine those, and he asked me to check the equations that he has written from all the steel tests that ASTM has done. So for 40 years, I took all the tests that they have done. I used the equations in the Excel sheet and made the Excel sheet so he can use it in the research paper later on. That was one small thing that I did for him.
What do you think that you become a government officer? What comes to your mind?
Why?
Only getting an experience of civil engineering or something else also?
So as my father is also a government servant, one thing that comes to my mind is that to be proud of what you do, to actually be helpful to the people, to have an impact on a large amount of people. I always see him being proud of his work for the underground construction of Chavri Bazaar in Chandni Chowk metro station or the JLN station before the Commonwealth Games. And I think I want to be like him. He's my role model. So I think that is one thing that comes to my mind, that 30 or 40 years down the line, I want to be the one saying that I impacted the lives of people in a good way.
Father is a railway officer or in DMRC?
He was working in the MRC.
Achha, Byjus Kumar Mishra.
DMRC.
Okay, please.
Like if you are considering construction of a residential building,
Yes, sir.
suppose it is 8-story. So what are the differences you see in IS code and ASCI? Any major
ASC
difference?
Yes.
Huh.
So if I talk about 8-story, if I take the height of each story as 3 meters, generally we see that 24-25 meters. What we see is that IS code, specifically if I talk about lateral analysis, IS code says that any kind of a structure needs a dynamic analysis in zone 2, 3 or 4, 5. However, ASC does not recommend that, because that dynamic analysis is only done specifically if it goes beyond 30 or 40 feet. That is
So
around
we can
100
say that for most of the common residential building, both the codes gives the same design.
For most of the common, yes. However, an 8-story building is less likely, especially in the cities. They have at least 40 to 50 meters buildings in the cities. They majorly work on skyscrapers that I've seen in the cities.
Okay, the wind load calculations, like what are the first initial steps for wind load calculation as far as IS code is concerned? Because you will be working with IS codes, even if you have knowledge of American codes. But if we consider IS codes, so if I tell me the first 3 steps for wind load calculations, then what will be your answer?
The primary step is to see where you are, like where the structure is going to be constructed. Then I would open up the IES 875 part 3. There we have the design, like basic wind speed for any region. From that, using all the coefficients, there are 4 coefficients: the risk coefficient, the terrain factor, the topography factor, and there is one more I'm forgetting. But you use these coefficients and try to find the design.
Terrain factor is depending on what? The terrain factor which you mentioned.
The terrain factor is depending on the terrain in which the building is in, and what are the surroundings of the building. Basically, that is what it is depending.
Surroundings means what you want to say?
The buildings that are surrounding it. If it is like the height of the buildings that are surrounding it. If there are multiple, if you can also do that test by making a model in a wind tunnel, and to check if there is a interaction effect of these buildings from the building in consideration.
Okay.
Tell me how many mocks you've done so far.
I've done one before this.
What was the feedback?
The feedback was my answers should be more crisp, first of all. Secondly, is that since I've been in the US and I might have developed a habit of shaking my head a lot while talking. So that is, they asked me to sit a bit straight and not deviate from your position.
Okay.
And then third was to brush up your technical concepts a little.
Okay.
I think in this interview as well, there were some things that I couldn't apply.
On the technical side, you mean?
On these 3 points, I would say that there were some things that I was not able to apply fully.
Okay. Good to know. Good to have personal observation. So, first things first, we find you a very good candidate. Having said that, we also feel that you need to work a little in certain areas of your personality. See, it's a personality test, not test of knowledge. Your knowledge has been tested in the mains, in the civil engineering. Here, asking civil engineering question is done definitely, but to see what else you are as a human being, is that it? Now, first let me tell you that your tie knot is not done properly.
Oh, okay.
Your beard was there.
Okay.
And you should always use the upper button of the coat.
Okay.
Lock the coat always while standing, and while sitting, take it off. And again, when you're going, put it on.
Okay.
And address not everyone, don't address like good morning everyone. You address the chairman specifically first, morning sir, and then if there is a lady member, address her, and others you can just look at, nod and smile, and sit, and while going also the same drill, right? We started with your introduction. And you straight away talked only of your educational qualification and your college and technological university, and I did this thing there and this thing there and this thing there. Introduction is a lot more to it, isn't it?
Yes.
Where I was born, where did I was schooling, who are my siblings, what are my hobbies, all that is there.
So actually this was the feedback that I got from the previous interview. I gave a pretty long introduction and they said the people were getting bored, so just put 3-4 lines and that's it.
So in 3-4 lines only,
Yeah.
You're right, long you should not be there, but 3-4 lines, they should cover various
I
aspects
completely
of
agree,
it.
sir. I completely agree.
And your answers were generally very long, otherwise also. Keep it short and simple.
Okay.
Remember KISS.
Keep it simple, silly. Yes.
Short and simple. Short also. Now, when you walked in, you were in a hurry to sit. You said, may I?
Oh,
Why show the hurry?
okay.
See, they are looking at a personality, isn't it? As a person. Why are you in a big hurry?
Oh,
And when questions were being asked, you were almost at the verge of interrupting. Have patience. Listen carefully. Because this is affecting your listening. I asked you to tell me 3 good things about USA. You told me things only about your institute and the training and the studies that you did.
okay.
You get me what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just giving you some suggestions, beta. And you are all over the place, everywhere. I did this, I did that, I did this. I so much in your discussion that we had. You will have to tone it down. One should be humble. You get me? Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'll come to the things that I talked to you. Georgia, about USA, we already covered. I asked you about the swimming, Phelps, But since you are a swimming champion, good to know a little more about medals, where and all that is there. And then an introduction. I asked you 3 things about USA, about your introduction, and about swimming. Basically, these are the 3 things.
Yes.
So I'll go back to what I said. You're a good candidate, but you need to polish all your areas a little bit more, and have your be clean shaven.
Yes.
And have another mock.
Sure.
You will definitely make it.
Thank you.
बहुत बढ़िया, very good. Whatever.
आपका कब है मेन इंटरव्यू?
7th December.
7th. ये ओवरऑल यू आर फाइन ऑफिसर, मतलब आप अच्छा अफसर बनोगे, लेकिन थोड़ा आई वाला जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, इसी क्या है कि व्हेन यू गेट इनटू गवर्नमेंट
And eye contact also.
जो आई ज़्यादा अगर आप यूज करेंगे तो यू विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज इफ यू आर नॉट ए ओपन माइंडेड पर्सन. इस ऑफिसर्स की फर्स्ट क्वालिटी, he has to be open minded person, so he grasp more, understand more, then you can say no, I disagree with it, that's a different thing, but look to be open minded. अगर आप ज़्यादा आई बोलोगे बहुत ज़्यादा तो दूसरा आदमी डर जाएगा एकदम से. आप समझ रहे हैं? तो आप भी आप ज्वाइन करोगे, अपना फादर इज आइडियल फॉर यू, जस्ट यू हैव टोल्ड यू इज योर हीरो. तो अब आप तो फादर वाली पोजीशन तो एंटर करोगे नहीं गवर्नमेंट में, यू विल एंटर एट दी वेरी वेरी जूनियर पोजीशन, फर्स्ट पोस्ट, है ना. सो उसमें थोड़ा आपके उसमें ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि यू आर ओपन माइंडेड पर्सन. बाकी रेस्ट ऑफ दिस थिंग्स आर फाइन. ओके,
Thank you.
Reduce the speed in which you are speaking.
हाँ, थोड़ा सी स्पीड भी
Actually, sir, when asked about Phelps, actually you told Phillips.
You said Phillips. Yeah, I wanted to tell you.
It
You
was
did not say
because
Phelps.
Because of your speed.
You will get
Okay.
video recording. Have a look at that.
Sure.
So if you reduce the speed, then you will not commit such mistakes. That's the first point. Second thing which I felt is that there was some kind of American supremacy coming over India. So as an Indian engineer, I felt little bit, that are our codes that inferior to American codes? Even if it is there or not there.
This is what I was talking to you.
Okay.
There has to, you tone down your...
Find out something good about Indian code also.
Yeah.
In comparison to American.
Or you can tell about the latest developments, whatever.
Sure.
But this feeling has to not come to the panel that you are trying to show your American supremacy over Indian codes.
Okay.
Okay. So because you are trained now in America, so thing is that when you come to Indian conditions, you should bring the good things.
From there to here.
There to here.
ऐसा
and
फील आना
don't
चाहिए
say
बात करने में. ये नहीं आना चाहिए कि ये तो डाउन ही है.
हाँ.
ऐसा आना चाहिए जैसे हम बाहर गए थे वहाँ ये अच्छी चीज थी तो we'll bring it there. ऐसी फील आनी चाहिए.
Okay.
And you
Don't
should
say
also tell
this is there and it is not in India.
जैसे एक दूसरे कंप्लेंट करके बैठ गए टाइप से. वैसा नहीं
तो फिर
होता.
कहेंगे भाई साहब वहीं जाओ फिर go मेरे job
हाँ,
है.
yes. And you can also add like this, and currently India also these research are happening, and I
That is a
want to
good
contribute from US knowledge
Right.
to the research which is also currently happening in India. A lot of professors are working in Indian conditions, okay, and I think that my knowledge there will help the current research in India.
Okay.
So don't tell that India में अभी research हो ही नहीं रहा है, हम बहुत पिछड़े हैं, we are very.
नहीं, मतलब ये लगना चाहिए कि फॉरवर्ड ले जाना इंडिया को.
हाँ.
आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन का फील आना चाहिए.
Okay. Okay.
This I think
That is a good point.
we should balance it very. It is very subtle thing, but it might affect. Certainly, some person, some people might take it offense, and your marks can reduce very drastically also, because it varies from person to person. So this one point can be, very detrimental.
यहाँ हो जाएगा, यहाँ तो ये दुखी रहेगा, ये अफसर पोस्ट हो गया ना, दुखी रहेगा.
So do you have any questions now? We have finished. Anything you want to know? We are here for you.
So there's one thing. In my previous interview, the question was कि जो US में होता है, वो इंडिया में तुम कैसे करोगे? How will you bring it? So I said that various जो new technologies हैं, the software applications that they are doing, the 3D modeling that they are doing of. So then the interviewer said, पैसे ही नहीं है इंडिया के पास, कौन देगा तुम्हें पैसे? अब सर अब इसका आंसर
यही है कि जब उसका आंसर यही है कि सर जब पूछा गया तो these are my suggestions. मनी प्रोवाइड करना तो गवर्नमेंट का इंस्टीट्यूशंस का काम है. तो that is something which
we can tell them the rate of return now. If we work in this area, then this much is going to be the return, and we'll recover back the money in 1 or 2 or 5 years or 10 years.
Okay.
You
So
can say I'll
we'll
make a presentation.
try to get the
how it
project
will be, but
sanctioned.
money provided, so this is not my job. But I can certainly tell you that if these technologies are there, it will be good for the country. It will give good return and all that.
Good return as well.
Be honest.
3 years it
is a
will
good point.
return, pay for it.
This is honesty.
Good return भी देगा.
That is a good
I
point.
can give a presentation on that. ऐसी फील आने से लगेगा कि solution you are giving.
But be honest.
Yes sir.
Yeah.
So
Anything
क्योंकि
else?
उस time पे I got intimidated, and then from there on the
हाँ,
interview
हाँ.
went very like downhill.
And
Whatever you look at this, Devam. Nobody is going to tutor you. You are a young man, educated. You are supposed to have your own thinking. What I just said, isn't it a reality?
It is.
So think on your feet. That's it. And whatever comes to your mind, be honest. Our always best situation is to get out of it. Sir, at the moment I can't think of anything as to how to sort out this matter. Don't should.
जरूरी थोड़ी हर चीज का रिप्लाई देना है. Sir, I'm sorry, it's not coming to my mind right now.
Or anything else.
Lastly, I have this tendency, I think that we have already covered this, but I have this tendency of giving a background of what my answer will be.
No, don't do that.
Would-
Short and crisp. I just told you.
Kiss.
Keep it short and simple.
See, what happens is that if you explain more, then if you tell less, the next question will be the one which you know already. If you have already given the answer, one question is asked, you explained it more, you gave the background, then the next question will be what? It will go to another thing, right? So better is to tell.
जैसे एक example है, पूछूं कि are you married? So you will say yes or no should be the answer. I did not get married because I had gone to USA, or I have fallen in love with a girl and she is not interested in marrying me now. Why all this?
Yes, sir.
नहीं आपने बैकग्राउंड कहा ना, यही करते हैं. I have a friend, रिटायर हुए बड़े साल हो गए, आज तक उससे कोई बात करो तो वो आधा घंटा तो मेरा बैकग्राउंड देता है. So he has lost many friends, let me tell you. Many family members also
Oh my
have,
God.
have left him.
I think this is lesson for my personal life as well.
Yeah.
So मेरा thought process ये रहता है कि if I give the small answer, then what?
अपना thought process अभी छोड़ दो.
Yes, sir.
We are all senior officers.
Yes, sir. So
We have
इसलिए I
served
was
the government.
discussing. Yes, sir.
We have been there for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yes, sir.
तो हमारी बात मान लो.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
not further discuss on this issue.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else?
But these two issues were there.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank
God
you
bless
so much, sir. Thank you.
Work
You'll
hard,
do well.
come
Good.
again, and you will do well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sir. Thank you.
Good.